So what were we talking about? Oh yeah, doing
Stand
like
up.
stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did stand up. I started when I was back in New York, and then when I was in LA, like when I moved to LA, I was still open micing. Then the pandemic hit. That's how I got into podcasting.
Mm.
So I was like, all right, the world can't live without my comedic genius for this
Mm.
entire like dark, pandy time. So I was like, all right. So then I started podcasting, and now here I am.
Gotcha.
So have you ever
So
done stand up?
no, fuck no. I love it. Like I love going to shows and seeing shows. I actually worked at a comedy club for like a weekend
Oh
because
really?
I just love stand up and like I was gonna just like, wait tables and shit there, but it was
Would you
kind of
ever like?
good.
Would you ever try going up? Like, are you brave enough?
Not I don't know. Maybe because I know Adam Hunter will like have like fighters up and stuff for like 5 minutes. I don't know. Maybe I could like tell a story or something in something that type of scenario,
Yeah.
but like I couldn't see myself like making it a career, or, like trying it a bunch of different times. Like it just is very hard, and it comes from a very creative place, and I would just really appreciate it. So I wouldn't want to have like a really shitty set,
I
and then
know the
like that's
rejection is
stupid.
tough.
It
Like,
would be so
yeah.
tough, and I would just feel dumb about it, and I don't know. I would just rather watch like really funny people and really good people and like watch my friends. Like seeing Lana do her thing the other night was really cool,
Yeah.
So now I definitely want to see you perform as well if you're going to
Thank
be
you.
soon. Are you still doing stand up actively like or a lot?
I haven't done it in a very long time, but after seeing Lana, like it made me want to go up again.
Hmm.
So, and yeah, like the like when you bomb and everybody bombs, like the greatest comics in the world, like when they're trying out new material, like it just is what it is.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to get over that rejection.
Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person too where I get really bad secondhand embarrassment. So if I see somebody else bombing, like it's
You're like,
so tough to watch. Like
yeah.
some people, like it doesn't affect them, but for me, I'm like, oh, this is like painful. So,
I
but
could see that.
yeah, like I just have,
Especially if you're friends with them too. It's like
oh, that's like the
you
worst.
want to see people do well and you're like,
Yeah, yeah. And especially like it's one thing to do a comedy show because the people there, like for the most part, want to laugh. But when you go to an open mic, it's just like all other comics. And most of them are jaded. They're really only there because they're trying to work out their own material.
mm,
They don't want to see somebody go up there and do super well and then they have to follow that act, even if it's an
mm,
open mic. So like someone told me when I first started out, they're like, you have to get used to silence. Like don't like even though you ultimately want to gauge the audience response to your joke, they're like, you have to get used to that silence, otherwise you'll never grow as a comedian.
interesting. That makes sense. I mean, that's like with anything, you kind of got to suck at stuff. And if you're going to grow and get better, you're going to have to try, you're going to have to try and open yourself up and make yourself vulnerable where like it's not going to, like with fighting, like if you're going to grow in your game, like it's going to take a while for you to make adjustments and do shit right and do it correctly and find a way to do things.
Right. And that's like, well, actually, I feel like we started the podcast and it was like, my guest needs no introduction, but why, I want you to tell all of the viewers and the listeners, like, what is it that you do for a living and how long you've been involved in it?
My name is Josh. I've been a professional fighter for 5 years. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter.
And what is your record currently?
7-3.
It's a good record.
7-3.
And you're fighting for I know you're like doing the one fight deals now, which for
Mhm.
people who are like who don't really know like the fight game, sometimes you get signed for multiple fights. I feel like usually you do, right? But in this particular case, you're going on like one off. So
Yeah.
you're not tied to any specific promotion like UFC or Bellator or anything like that.
Yes, that's where I'm at right now.
But
Trying to work something out though.
I was gonna
I'd
say
like to
you
get a
want to be in the
multi-fight deal.
UFC.
Yeah, I'd like a multi-fight deal with the UFC right now. That's where in my career I feel like that's where I belong, and I think that's where I could add the most value and where I can grow the most as a fighter and like grow my brand and just like expand my life.
Well, and you made the move out to Vegas, as did
Mhm.
I like 5 months ago, not to fight yet anyway. Well, maybe like in the supermarket, but like not in like a cage. But you made the big move out to Vegas, so I feel like that's like a huge step in and of
Mhm.
itself. How do you like it so far?
I love Vegas. Like as far as like the training and stuff, like you couldn't ask for better training. The coaching is unbelievable. It seems like everyone that I train with all were the best of where they were from, or like one of the best where they were from, and then they have migrated here. So it's a very interesting mix of, culture and just like styles of fighting and everything, like all in one. And the coaching is just like unbelievable. Like any question that I have, like I have all the resources there in every department of the sport at the highest level. So, um, in the past year, I feel like my game has grown more than it ever has in my career, and it is wild. Like I didn't ever expect like moving out here, and it was kind of like all by accident. But then it ended up being like the best blessing in my life, and now I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm like so happy to be here. And plus like the weather and the food and like cool people. You know, it's like
Thank
you know,
you.
it's a very special place.
I do consider myself like the burgeoning crown jewel of like Las Vegas, so I feel like that's, you know, that's my role out
If you
here.
didn't know, now you know.
No, but I feel like, do you ever worry though that you're going, I mean, I love it here too, and I've been here like 5, 6 months, but do you ever worry you're gonna get like caught up in the Vegas lifestyle?
No, 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 no. I don't worry about that at all because I just literally just train and just like do fight focused stuff. Like whenever we met was at the karate stuff,
Oh, karate
you know.
combat, which I want to talk more about, like you being out here and like you being inspired by the people that you're training with. But I do like want to quickly detour to karate combat because it's true. That's where we met.
Mhm.
That was, I loved it. I just want to put that out there that I did love karate combat, but the experience there was like a fever dream. Like it was like an acid trip, like the
Yeah.
whole, in a good way. Like
Yeah.
it was a wild, like
It
the
was crazy.
dancers. Remember, they were like alien
Yeah, they had the
dancers.
alien dancers like twerking like on top of the pit, and it like what how I explained to my friends was the karate combat show was like a local show, but
Yes.
like but also big show skill, and so you're just right on the action. And with the pit there's no obstruction of view. We're like the cage in MMA, like, and usually at an MMA show the cage is lifted, so you're down below it and you're looking up into the
Right.
cage, so it's you can't really see, and then there's the poles. But with the pit you're looking down into the pit and there's nothing there, so you can see everything, and it's super fucking high level strikers, which is like way more easy to watch than like a couple guys like grappling and stuff. Like even though I don't mind it, like because
Right.
I'm just
You
like
love the sport
I'm
as do
so in
I.
deep
Yeah.
to it that it's like okay, this is a part of it. But like for the casuals, like and just to watch, it's just more. I think it's just really fun to watch. Like it was
Yeah.
awesome. It was a badass show.
Like, not that I don't like, I mean, again, like grappling, if you are like if you know fighting, it's interesting to watch, but striking
Right.
is always more fun, especially like
Yeah.
you said, for like casuals or for people who aren't super into it.
Yeah, and well, personally, I grew up on boxing and kickboxing and stuff, so it was just really cool for me to
Oh,
see.
you did?
Yeah, yeah. So I like just watching like just pure striking like that. Well, with the little gloves, it's like
Would you ever
crazy.
like fight for karate combat? Like, would you ever go over there and like do some with them? Oh,
Money,
for the right
money
price?
talks.
I like that. I
Money
like that
talks.
answer.
Mr. Awesome President, Mr. Goatshed, whatever. Asim.
Oh, I didn't even see. I didn't even know. I
Yeah, yeah.
didn't do my research.
He's running karate combat. So if you come at me with the bread, I'm down, brother.
Well, we should like call him out in like a polite
No,
business
no,
way.
no, no. I don't need to. I'd rather be in the UFC to be honest, just because I just want to. I'm focused on my career right now, but you know,
Down the
I got a
line.
kid, and yeah, down the line or something, like if the money was right, then I would be down for that. But
I did like the pit style too. Like I felt like it felt like a Roman Colosseum type thing, you know, where you're like looking down into it. And
sure.
there are rules, just to put that out there, but it feels like it's hard to tell what the rules are. So it
Yeah.
almost reminded me of like early day like
Yeah.
UFC, where you're like, I'm not really sure what's going on. It almost felt
Yeah,
like they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
making the rules up as they go, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what's happening.
Yeah, I had never been to a show or watched a full event, so I didn't really understand the rules either. And I feel like a lot that was true for like a lot of people there. So we were all kind of like figuring out the rules together, and we're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, you can strike them for 5 seconds after. Like by the main event, you're like, okay, I understand what's happening. But like at the beginning, you're kind of like, wait, what is the rule here? Wait,
I
you
know.
can hit him
I
when
feel like
he's down?
everybody was
Okay.
like trying to figure it out. And we like wound up in like the quote unquote VIP section, which was literally like high school bleachers. Like that, this was the setup. And we were all just like crammed together, like being on the subway. By the end of it, everyone was like complaining about like their back and their knees and shit like that. But I was like, I don't know, there was something about it that felt very gritty and exciting. And I mean, obviously, like the UFC is like the grand show, but so it was almost kind of nice to go to something like that. Cause like you
Right.
said, it felt like local. And I don't know, it just had this like old school, like roadhouse feel to it.
For sure.
So I like it. I hope they continue to succeed.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean, if they keep putting on fights like they did in that last show, then they're going to do really, really well for themselves.
No, it was good. And so getting back to before when you were saying here you're training with so many high level people, I know this is something that you and I had talked about, how you feel like it's inspiring to kind of see everybody like around you like doing the thing that you wanted, well, that you already are doing, but to be like at that level, and it makes you like hungrier. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you don't see the success around you, you're not sure like if you're really doing the right thing or if you're, if it's really going to work out, but whenever you're around people and you're doing the exact same thing and you have the same management company and the same coaches as people who are just going in, working hard, doing the drills properly or doing them to the best of their ability and trying to really figure out how to do shit. And then they go out and they're having so much success at the highest level right next to you. Then you have like, there's no reason for you not to have confidence going into, okay, I can handle any situation at bay. You just have to be in the right mindset and be, be in the right place. Like just ready for whatever. Like, like we're really preparing with all the best people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's what was like Ric Flair saying? It's like to be the man, you got to beat the man,
Yeah,
right? And I
for
feel
sure.
like when you train, like you do want to go up against the best people. Like otherwise, how are you really going to test your skill if you're not fighting like with the best?
For sure. And I mean, what's cool about extreme is if you're really growing and getting better, you're gonna always have rounds. Like there's guys that are gonna be better at wrestling. Like I was saying, there's all different styles. But like if you're really pushing the envelope, you know who's the best in each department, and you're really gonna be like you're gonna see guys that you're better than. You're gonna see guys that are gonna whoop your ass. And
Right.
so you're getting the best of both worlds, where you're working new stuff and you're getting better and figuring out how to apply your skills, but also like when you got to be gritty and how to get through things and and what adjustments you need to make as far as like, okay, this isn't going to work at this certain level, so what am I going to do to change that? And then you have the other guys that you can go and you can work that on. So
Right.
I think it's a really cool place. And then obviously all the coaching, like I was saying, you can go to them with any of your problems or anything that you need to brush up on or get better at, and then they'll be able to answer you.
Well, and I think that's like something interesting too because I often thought of like MMA as like a single person sport, right? Because when the cage door closes, it's
Mhm.
just like you and the other guy or girl. But I didn't realize like how much of the culture is built around whatever team you're fighting for. So it's really not just you, and it's not even just your corner, right? Like it's the gym you train at, it's the people you train with.
Mhm.
And so when like hear of sometimes there being like one fighter up in the mix and then like they're asked to leave the gym, like now I get it. Like I feel like one bad egg could like throw off the whole vibe in there, you
For
know?
sure, for sure. And I think extreme is a really cool place. Um, as far as like the dynamic and like the vibe, because everyone's very professional. Like everyone understands that it's a job. No one's trying to hurt each other, but we're all very competitive because everyone's trying to be the best motherfucker in the room for the most part. So it creates just like a certain vibe in the room, like what you're saying. It creates a certain dynamic to where it's like very competitive. It's just everyone's on the same train of thought. Like there doesn't have to be like there's not like too clicky or groups or anything like that. Like it's just very like everyone's right to it. And there's no one's holding anyone back. Like everyone's all on the same train of thought. Like I'm saying, and just kind of working together like one unit.
Well, and if they're not, I feel like as the person who runs the gym, then you have to ask yourself like the tough question of like, does this person need to leave? If they're
Yeah,
kind of throwing off like the
the vibe. Yeah,
yeah. Because I feel like I could. It sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but I think that it could derail like if it derails morale at the gym, like and suddenly it's not just that one fighter there's a problem with, it's like all your fighters are suddenly like, not in a good spot.
right. Yeah, yeah. If one thing happens, then every could be discontent for everybody. But yeah, like um, I'm just really grateful to be at Extreme. Like, everyone is really pushing the envelope to be the best fighter in the world for the most part. And you know, I know whenever I was back home, that was not true. Like you have guys that are there that are just hobbyists. You have guys that are working like a 9 to 5, but then also just kind of training to just like try and make it happen and try and get to where all these guys are at right now. So, and some of those guys can be like very dangerous partners because they want to prove like, oh, this guy's winning in fights. I want to fucking show that I can beat him right now. But like, it's not really about who beats who in practice. Practice is for learning and growing and getting better and seeing where your holes are and filling those gaps if you're really training the right way. That's how you get to continue to just grow really quickly. But, those guys that want to just like prove something, that's a lot of times how people get hurt is just
Right.
fighting and having wars in the gym. So yeah,
Like if they don't understand like the bigger picture of why you're all there, and it's like you said, you want to test each other, but you don't literally want to like hurt your team member to the point where they're like
no,
injured
we
for the
need
next
each
fight.
other. We
Yeah.
need each other. One of my teammates said today, like, shout out Kobe Fair. He said, if I whoop somebody's ass, then they run into me on the next one. Like I just don't understand that. And like what he meant is like, if I And if
Like
I'm
if they
like,
retaliate, you're saying.
no,
Like,
no,
if
not
what?
retaliate. Like if they're in another group and they run into you,
Oh, oh.
because he's saying like if I beat you this round, you need me to get better if you really want to get better. But then you're not even paying attention whenever you're going over here with this guy enough to not run into me and hurt me. So then I can help you get better
Right,
as
right,
we,
right.
you know what I mean? So we can train tomorrow and we can get better. But you know, you can't do that if you just hurt the guy because you're wrestling with this dude over here and just ran into his fucking ankle or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
so,
no.
you know what I'm saying?
It's not like cohesive to the bigger picture, I would
Yeah.
say.
But for the most part, you know, everyone's super cool there and everyone's just trying to get better. So it's a cool vibe.
I like that. Apropos of absolutely nothing, I said this before. I love your outfit. It's
Thank
like,
you.
can we have a shot of his outfit? I feel like it's giving me. It's like a mix of like Hunter S. Thompson and then like Logic the rapper. Like if they had like a
Wow,
child.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's in like the best way possible.
Somebody said I look like Mac Miller's drug dealer.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, I could see it. You know what I mean?
Me too. I was like, all right, I'll take that one.
I feel like, and I know you said this before. I said this the night I met you. You like you look like Justin Gaethje to me. A better looking version.
Justin
Sorry,
Gaethje. Yeah, I've heard it a couple of times, once or twice.
Do you ever use it to your advantage?
No. I don't ever use it. But one time at the Raiders game, this dude did come up to me and he was like, you know, telling me about like his kid trains over at Syndicate and blah, 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 blah. And I was in really nice seats. Like I was down on the field and stuff. A friend had brought me.
So you looked the part. You were like,
yeah, and I was just chilling and I had like just bleached my hair. So I don't know if that makes it like a little closer to Justin. I don't know.
yeah.
But, and this dude was just telling me all this shit. And I was just like, right on, man. Yeah, cool. We'll have a good one. And he's like, you're Justin Gaethje, right? And I'm like, no, dude. My name is Josh. I'm like, here's my Instagram, though. You can follow my career. I'm like, I am a fighter. You can follow my shit.
I would just roll with it. Like my uncle, this was like, you know, when like, you remember Tobey Maguire, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man. So this is back more when he was like a little bit more, a little more in the limelight, so to speak. But my uncle actually came out here to Vegas and he kind of looks like him. So he went to like, I think he was at the Palms pool and the security, like they thought he was Tobey Maguire. So like, do you want us to like section this, you know, spot off for you? And like
yeah.
he completely went with it. He's like, yeah, like that would be great. They were like bringing him like free shit, him and his friends.
Oh my God. That's
Totally
hilarious.
hooked him up. And I was like, I would do that if somebody had mistaken me for somebody.
Yeah, this was just a regular dude, though. I wasn't about to like, I would have definitely rolled with it if it was a situation like that. You can't not. You got
Right.
to. And be like, what? Sorry. I thought you knew who I was.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you can always
But-
kind of play dumb. Be like, oh, no, I thought, like, you know, you never asked me if I
yeah,
was
yeah,
so-and-so.
yeah.
Like,
No, exactly. Yeah, you just play dumb. But yeah, no, it was just like a normal dude. So I was just like, no, man. Not Justin.
That's like, yeah, it's always tough too. I love that you like waited until like the bitter end though to like even like to give the big reveal to like you let him tell you about his child and like
Well, I didn't know
Syndicate.
why he was like telling me. He was just like I like saw my ears and he started like telling me shit and I was just like
Saw my ears.
I
That
was
is
just
the
like,
telltale
okay,
sign.
cool. Like I was like, all right, I'm not rude, you know. I was just like, I'll hear this guy out. And like he's telling me about training. I'm like, clearly he sees that I fight. Like I was like, okay.
I know the ears are always like a marker too. I feel like that's like my first. It's either like you wrestled too much in high school or you are like actively a fighter if you have like the ear. Your ears are like pretty. They're like in decent shape though. I've
That one's
seen.
pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen. I feel like some of the guys, it's like it's like terrifying. Like I'm not even sure how like they get anything in there, like an earbud or information.
Oh yeah,
or...
I can't get any earbuds in there. I wear like the big.
Really? Is that like where it's at right now?
Yeah.
Oh my god, damn.
Because like there's like a little piece on the, in there, so it, you know, blocks it.
And that like never really goes away, right? Like you can't
You can get it like cut out by like a plastic surgeon, but
like all that scar tissue and stuff.
it's so what it is. It's cartilage breaks down and then it fills up with blood, and then whenever it fills up with blood, it like solidifies.
Oh damn.
So you can like get that stuff like cut out, but your shit's gonna look all scarred up and fucked up anyways. I don't even care.
Yeah. No, they look fine. I have like bad, like I have fucked up. I have like cauliflower knees. Because,
Cauliflower knees.
Yeah,
huh?
I
What
like
from?
bottle waitressing, which I feel like is like a nicer form of like stripping. Because I was gonna say like the people who have that are like former athletes and then strippers all have bad knees, you know, from wearing heels and being on their feet for so long. I have like weird. Like I'm definitely gonna need like a knee replacement in the next like 5 to 10 years.
In 5 years, you think?
I don't know, dude. They're already cracking. Like when I go down the stairs, like
Do they hurt though?
No pain. They just make a lot of noise, and then they
Probably,
like
right?
look weird.
Yeah, I mean, you could, you could do stuff to prevent that. You can like work out and do exercises to like build your quads and hamstrings and calves and like balance it all out. You know
Oh, to
what I
like
mean?
strengthen it. Yeah, but like, what do
Yeah.
you do about like the weird cartilage shit in my knee? Like, I feel like it gets...
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm kind of like an
See?
opposite of a doctor.
I'm gonna be like the first like girl in history to get like a knee job, you know, instead of a nose job or like
Hell
a boob
yeah.
job. Like I'm
You
just
could
gonna
get a
get a knee
couple
job.
inches added on too, maybe. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. An enhancement of sorts.
Yeah, that'd be tight. You should do that.
I would die. How old are you, if you don't mind me
I
asking?
just turned, well, I'm 30.
Oh, okay. I say it the same way too. Like there's like a little tiny like like a millisecond of shame where I'm just like, fuck.
Like 20, 30.
And you're like, oh my god, I know.
Yeah.
And you have a son.
Mm.
How old's your son?
He'll be 4 at the end of February.
Okay. So I was like, obviously, like having a child changes anybody, you know. But does it? Like, I often wondered, like, does it change you as a fighter in any way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it changes your focus because um, I know for myself when I was younger, there was a lot of like selfish needs because no matter what, whether guys want to admit it or not, we're fucking attention whores. So like the attention we get from fighting is different than if we just worked a 9 to 5 job. And so we become addicted to that and we get, whether you're the most focused guy or the least focused guy, you get, you just get extra shit from it. So we get like some sort of validation from it. But when I feel like for myself, whenever I had a kid, like all that outside validation kind of stopped and it became about providing for him and
Right.
seeing that, seeing the opportunities at bay and not thinking of things like so selfishly. Like it's not really about the money and like cars and maybe like hot chicks or whatever. It's like, or just like being, just like the extra shit that comes with being a world champion. But for
Well,
me,
it
it's
could be
just
about
like,
that a little bit, right? I mean,
well,
you gotta enjoy your life a little
no,
bit
no,
over
no. You
there,
definitely enjoy your life. Yeah. I mean, everyone wants nice shit, but
right?
I'm
It's not
gonna
like the
coach
sole
at. Yeah.
focus, yeah.
But yeah, it's not your focus. You're like, for me, it's like being able to have like other avenues of income as far as like real estate and shit like that, like stuff that's really going to set my son up to have a completely different life and a bunch of more opportunities than I would have had because once you open certain doors, then now you're introduced to a whole new set of doors. And for him, if he's at a whole different starting point, then he doesn't have to worry about fucking fighting people in his underwear for fucking
Yeah.
20, 30, $40,000. Like fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't even want him to think that that's an option. Like there's no reason for you to do that. There's no reason for you to live that way.
Oh, so you wouldn't want him to fight? If he wanted to fight, you would be unhappy with that decision,
No,
or?
I wouldn't be unhappy with it if he really it would be something that I would not push for. Like I don't want him to fight, that's for sure. I'm gonna have him training and he'll know how to fight to defend himself, growing up and shit, but I want him to do rich people shit, not
Yeah.
like not that, like you can make so much money even just going to a Division 1, like a high level Division 1 college, just playing basketball now with
Yeah.
NIL deals, and stuff like that. And if you go to the league, anything like that, like as far as an athlete, so like if he's gonna do something athletically, which I could see, like a lot of my family are athletes,
Okay.
so I could see him, wanting to get there at some point. So if he did want to do something athletically, I'd push for something that you're not gonna get brain damage doing.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I was just gonna say too, like speaking of like athletically gifted, I'm like the only person in my family, including extended on both sides. I have zero athletic skill to the point where I considered telling people I had some type of disability. No disrespect to people who do have a legitimate disability, but it's that bad. Like when I tell you zero hand-eye coordination, like there's just not an ounce of athleticism like in my bones.
But your
Just,
family is athletic?
I mean, yeah, they're better than I am.
Well,
Like
are
they
they
can.
athlete? Like, whether they go to college? You got any college athletes? Like,
Do we have any college athletes? I don't think so, but
you came from
they,
a big family too, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
we talked about
ginormous.
this. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, like my dad like never wrapped it up. It was like a sin. Like he just fucking, like just had no like. And there's like a 13-year age gap between me and the youngest, so we just
Wow.
like kept it going.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, if there was ever like a poster child for like a vasectomy, it would be like my father. It's like stop now. Like
How
after
many did he
like
have?
5.
Oh, that's not bad. My
That's what
grandma
you
and grandpa
say.
had 9, so
Oh, they're up
yeah.
there. I guess like after a certain point though, too, you're just like, what's another kid? Like when I see people with like 15 kids, you're probably just like, now we're creating a cult, like our own self, like who cares?
Yeah, I mean, after like pretty much after like 6, I'd say like 7, 8, 9, 10. What's the difference?
Yeah.
You know,
Do you want a big family?
I would do a big family. I think that would be fun. It's not like I feel like that used to be a thing so often back in the day,
Yeah.
like 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
But now it's like never a thing. Like if someone has like 4 kids, it's a lot. Like, I would do a big family.
I mean, well, it's like, speaking of like making a lot of money though, it's expensive.
Well, yeah.
Kids are fucking.
Well, what's expensive is like daycare and like gymnastics and jujitsu and shit like that. But like the kids themselves are not really that expensive.
I feel like if you had that big of a family, like you should just go get a farm at that point and just like let them roam free. Like forget gymnastics and like
Go.
SAT class. Yeah, just let them like live off the earth and like like, may what's like the survival of the fittest. Like may the best man win and see who
Teach them
comes
how
home
to
for dinner.
hunt and like fish and like plant shit, and then after that, just let them go.
Yeah,
Like wild animals.
I would love to create like. I'm like largely a pacifist, but I kind of would love to create like a little army, like for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want a lot of kids? What's a lot to you though?
I think anything like 4 is like on the cusp, right? Like it's like 3 is not a lot. I feel like 2 or 3 is pretty standard. 4
Yeah.
is like you're pushing the envelope, and then like 5 and above, like you're fucked.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I would do like 5 to 8.
5 to 8,
Yeah.
and your cabinet at 8.
Well, also, I'm a professional athlete. I might have fucking 6 baby mamas.
I was just
Who
gonna say,
knows?
yeah, you have like the odds are stacked
You know what
against
I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah, you might not have
So.
to. You should, yeah. That's like I was gonna say, like as an athlete, I'd be like, like that whole thing how like Drake puts hot sauce in the condoms after he.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
That's real?
Yes, because he like then this dumb girl, for those of you who don't know, so he puts hot sauce in the condoms after they like whatever. Although I always wonder like why not just like flush it, like maybe just I don't know, worry about the plumbing system. I have no idea. Like, but he puts hot. Why we right? Like, don't you wonder like why wouldn't you just get rid of it?
Because he's petty. Like, why just get rid of it whenever, like, if they're trying to fuck some shit up, then you'll know that they're doing some fuck shit.
That's what happened. So he puts hot sauce in the condom, puts it God knows where in like the fridge or some shit. So she gets it, tries to like inseminate herself, and then like burns her vagina or pussy, like whatever like word you prefer, and or whispering eye as I like. So she burns it. And then has the audacity to try to sue Drake for like bodily injury, like as
Damn.
if. Can you imagine being that dumb?
Did she get any money?
No, she definitely. Thank God. Because then I feel like it's like it would set a precedent. Then like everybody would do that and like get money and shit. But I was like, I would have been so mortified by the fact that I tried to do that. Like I would want nobody to know. Like I would have walked out there, like I could have been like sweating, like my vagina could have been sweating,
I gotta
and
go.
I'm like, no, yeah,
My
like,
Uber's here. He's like, you don't want me to pay for it?
Yeah.
No.
Like I would be like grinning and bearing it and being like, I cannot let this guy know what I just tried to do, let alone file.
Would you ever try that?
No.
What if it was Drake though?
No, I'm not a star fucker.
Well, that's
Contrary to
fine,
popular
but that's
opinion.
not why they do that.
Oh, you mean like for the money?
Yeah.
No, I could never. I also feel like that's like wildly selfish. Like talk about like a prerequisite for being a parent. Like you're basically willing to do that, knowing full well the dad probably won't really want to be involved in the kids. Like I feel like that's the epitome of selfish.
Yeah, that is pretty fucked up.
You know?
Yeah.
Like because I think this is what you were getting at. You're basically just doing it for the paycheck, right? If you just want a kid, you could just go, like fuck some random stranger. Like if you want Drake's kid, then I feel like you're looking for something.
Well, if you're also just trying to have a kid too, then you could get the check and the kid though.
That's true. Work smarter, not harder.
You know
what you're
I'm saying? Yeah, like don't just get some random dude at Walmart. Like fuck that dude. You're gonna get like a couple $100 a month. Fuck
You're like
that.
you gotta think about. You're like thinking about it from like an
You gotta
accounting
think
perspective.
about the kid.
I was gonna say, I feel like you should start your own podcast, and it could be like toxic advice from Augie. Like this is,
That's a good name.
right?
Me and Shorty will just teach life lessons and tell stories.
Yes, and you could just like advise all the
Now this one time.
like all the chicks who've been like no jumper, and then like now need like life advice or something. Have you ever watched that one? That's like another one that like make you lose faith in society.
It really does. It's trash. Yeah,
quickly.
it's bad. Yeah.
It's hard.
Pretty bad. Yeah. I don't know, but I would go on there. So.
I know, me too.
Whatever.
I'm acting like all like holier than thou.
Yeah.
I'm like if they called me like in 20 minutes, I'd be like, where do you want it? Like where are we podcasting?
When do you want me to come? Yeah.
I know. And I like Lena the. I mean, I like her work. Fan of her work. Speaking of, I'm going to AVN this weekend. Are you going?
If you get me a ticket.
Is it like a ticket situation? I'm like an exhibitor.
Exhibitor? What the hell does that mean?
Like I'm like I'm not like attending as a guest. I like have like a booth. Me and Lana actually are doing something where like the promo models for Rise dispensary. So shout out to Rise. But so I'm like technically working it, I guess.
Oh.
What's the guest pass situation like? Is it like astronomical?
I just found out about this last night because Shorty was on Lana's podcast, and I guess he went over to her house or whatever, and he just found out about it and told me that it was this weekend. So yeah, I would love to go and network and meet everyone and probably have
Network. You
and
want to go network at the
What?
porn
I'm
convention?
networking. I'm network. It's work related. It's work related.
Are you like a fan of the adult entertainment arts? I am. I'll go first. Huge fan. Big fan.
I
My
feel
whole
like
life.
everyone is to a degree, but I try not to like watch it too much. So
I've gone on like long like cleanses from porn because I
Yeah.
do feel like it starts to like affect
yeah,
everything after a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a whole, like I'm like a supporter of the arts, so to speak.
for sure, for sure. I mean, I don't judge anybody. I think like there are definitely some super cool people, I'm sure, that are doing their thing, and yeah, I feel like it would be fun time.
Yeah.
Like it would just be cool to go and like meet a few people and have
Find your
go
next baby
go
mama,
to
perhaps.
a after party and just see how that looks. I would imagine it's probably
Lit.
pretty wild.
Oh yeah, no, I would love to.
I'm not drinking or smoking or nothing right now, so I'd just be like
Oh, are you?
chilling.
Are you doing like a straight edge? Are you like? Oh no, you just said you're not smoking. So I was like, are you California sober? But it sounds like you're sober.
I would be. I like to smoke weed, but I'm sober because I gotta pass a drug test. So
Oh, you can't smoke weed to fight? I thought that
so
USADA did away with that.
after well, USADA's gone. It's drug free sport now, and but they are still like certain levels that you have to be within, and I think I could quit like a week out, but like like about my next thing, and I just don't want to be going into it with like any thoughts of like, oh, I want to smoke or this or that. Like I'm trying to just like ease my way off of like any habits that I don't want to have. Like I want everything to just be on point.
I know you're like a monk. You're like Ra's al Ghul from Batman. I just like at the monastery, just like living a pure life until your
No,
fight.
no, it's not even like that. I mean, I'm not like, it's not too pure, or just,
What do you mean like not? What else is there left to do?
uh,
Like fuck.
fuck, yeah.
I think that's fine though. I feel like that's good for your cardio. Like that's
Like
not.
bedroom cardio?
Yeah, like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna like that's great. I wouldn't write that off as like a bad thing that you're like, oh, I'm still doing that. Like no, that's
Well, that's what I imagine whenever you say monk, though. Just like no sex, no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing. You're just like meditating and training, and that's all you do. But no.
Yeah, I mean I definitely am like not cut out for like the convent for sure. Like no drinking and like no sex, like that would be or masturbating. Like, can you masturbate? Probably not.
Me?
Nikki, I don't know why I turned to you like as if you were like the archdiocese and you would like no, you'd be like, oh yeah, you can't hear the rules. Like I don't, but not on Sundays, not on the holy day. Oh my God, I'm dying. You've been hanging out with Lana a little bit too much. I feel like that's like the sign. But wait, actually, tell everybody about what your next thing is though. Like promote yourself. Go ahead, have at it.
But are we gonna release this after?
Oh, is that what you were referring to?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like your next fight. You were talking about the thing. All right, yeah, let's.
What next fight? What are you talking about?
When are you fighting again?
Hopefully on the show.
Oh, so everything is on hold until.
Yeah, I'm
You
not
could always
booking.
cut it out.
Yeah, I'm not booking anything until after I know what's going on with this.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything on the schedule. I'm just literally only thing I'm thinking about is this.
All right, we could talk about it real quick, and if
Yeah,
the shit hits the fan, then we'll just cut it out. But so yeah, so you are waiting to hear back to see if you're going to be on the next season of The Ultimate Fighter.
Yes.
I'm very excited about. For
Yeah,
you.
so I've interviewed and I've talked to my guys, and obviously I'm with Iridium over at Extreme Couture. Some of the producers are connected to some of my coaches and stuff, and I just feel like you know how this town is. Once you're connected with the right people, I feel like I'm not only connected with the right people, but I'm also the perfect fighting style, the perfect personality. Like I'm everything that they want for reality TV and
Right.
for for the format of the show. Like I'm gonna go out there and I told the producers this, like I really don't give a fuck about getting knocked out. I'm a pinpoint striker. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try and fucking sleep dudes. I'm not gonna fucking hold people's legs for 10 minutes and like barely try to squeak a decision out. Like I'm gonna go out there and try to take people out and put performances on that people remember and that I'm proud of. Like I don't want to go out there and just barely win or whatever. Like, and if it gets real dicey and I'm fighting another really good skilled guy, then that'd be fun to just go to fucking war
Right.
and like have like like not only fight of the season, but like one of the best fights of all time in Ultimate Fighter history. Like I grew up watching the show. So, and it was a huge part of why I got into the sport. So just having the opportunity to be on the show and like be in the position to be able to do something like that is fucking awesome. And like I was saying, like I really don't care about getting knocked out. Like obviously I want to win the whole thing, but if we're in a fucking battle and we're fucking like just fucking each other up and that happens, like I'm not gonna go home and be embarrassed. Like I really like anyone who has any opinion outside of like other than that was fucking tight that you did that, they're
Right.
not a fighter, and I'm just not really concerned with their opinion. So
Well, plus it's
this is
like,
my foot in the door.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's not even necessarily if you win the whole thing. It's more about, like you said, like showcasing yourself. And if you have star quality and you understand that it's as much as it's about being like a fighter and all of that, it's also about being a good entertainer.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there are some guys like certain women as well, like purists, who would be like, no, it's only about the fighting. But it's like, yeah, like I would like to think that, but you know, if you want to make it, like you have to bring something to the table. Like you have to be entertaining.
Well, the thing is the purists are like that because it used to be like that. That's
Right.
all it ever was. Like back in the Chuck and the Tito days, and the reason that it was marketable was because they were so like it was so raw. And then you know everything's changed. It's a business now, and if you want to make real money like right out of the gate, you can, but you got to play the game.
Right.
And you know, I think it's easy to do. I think it's fun to do, like to do, you know. So I'm just looking at this like an opportunity. Like you know, it's an interview with the company, and you know, it could be my foot in the door whether I win the tournament or not. And I do know of a couple of the other guys that I think also have a good chance of being casted as well. And you know, skill for skill, I see myself with all the top guys at 145 pounds in the world, much less on the show. Like that's why I say this is just my foot in the door, because I can see myself like clean sweeping the whole house and like, you know, really having some impressive performances and setting myself up right for the future, and having that probably leap in fan base from the show itself will also influence the UFC to want to continue to push.
Absolutely. I love The Ultimate Fighter. And actually, I don't know if it was last season or the season before, but I literally had like a spreadsheet of all the fighters because I was like trying to keep track of everybody. And
Damn,
like,
you're a nerd.
I know. And I even had like a category for their star sign. And I'm going to get hate from the people who like
Star
hate,
sign.
like their astrological sign.
That's kind of crazy, but kind of cool.
I know. I just like, I feel like as like somebody, like I'm interested in like data science sometimes. I am a little bit of a nerd. So I was like, sometimes I wonder, is there like a correlation? Like, and then I had another spreadsheet of just like all the active UFC fighters. And same thing, I had all their star signs. So I was just wondering, like, I don't know, like, is there.
Have you found any correlation here?
I feel like there are a lot of like Leos involved in the sport, which like doesn't surprise me. But there are
Yeah, that
also a
makes
lot
sense.
of cancers involved in the sport.
It's me.
Are you this is like, I'm telling you. See, everyone like makes fun of me. I'm like, no, there are things, like there are patterns. I'm just saying I'm noticing patterns, you guys, with astrology and MMA. I haven't like quite used. Oh no, that's a lie. Actually, one time I did place a sports bet exclusively based on their signs, which was like a little
Did
unhinged.
it work out?
I can't remember, which is like
Feel
not
like
a good
she-
sign.
I feel like she lost.
No, I was gonna say,
because if you
I feel
won,
like if
you'd be like,
I would've
yeah, I
been
won.
on the. Oh no, wait! I think I did win because I remember going on and bragging. All right, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna find the Instagram story just to prove you wrong. I feel like I remember I got on and I was like, "Oh, you like bros who hate astrology, like you know, like look at this, like I correctly predicted." So I'm just saying.
Bree's sports betting picks coming soon to Instagram.
Well, I don't know what happened to my crystal ball.
He's
Somebody
a
stole
Leo,
it.
so 80% of the UFC's flyweight division are Leos, and this is who we're going with this week, guys. KO in the second round.
I would do it just to be different. What if I do it and I win?
Let's
like
run
then
it.
what?
Let's go. I know that I'm with it. That I want to be sponsored by you, and you know I'll push it, and
Imagine.
yeah,
Oh my God. No,
I'll
I feel
just take
like
10,000 off the top, and then I'll repost everything. I'll make a video too. You tell me what to
10K
say.
off the top. I would think I'm like made of money. I think I'm like Floyd Mayweather over here. It's like
Well, if
10K
you
to
start
throw
winning
you.
sports bets and you got people paying subscriptions, yeah, you'll have
That's
10 grand
true.
in no time.
That would be great. Actually, do you know Nick Deus?
No, I don't think so.
He like you should go on his podcast. He does a great sports betting podcast called Veterans Minimum over at the Win.
Okay.
And so obviously he's very good at sports betting, but
You
he
have to send
also
me his IG after this, please.
What'd you say?
So you have to send me his IG after this.
Oh
please.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, like also like Nick. Speaking of like getting money off the top, I should be getting like paid to be promoting Nick. But no, He's the best. I love him. Happy to do it. And he does have really great picks, but he hates astrology. So I used to bring it up when I was ever like a guest on his show. He would get like so annoyed. But I'm like, listen, like, what if you find there isn't indeed a correlation? Like, and then you're the guy that like has that edge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You never know. So no, there's definitely something about like the Cancer thing. I don't know. And they're really big about like their like defending their loved ones. So I feel like when I say like, oh, I'm gonna predict a fight based on it, it's like if a fighter came up and like really riled you up specifically about your family, and I knew you were a Cancer, I'm betting on you. Like I would give you the edge.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right.
If you're a Leo and somebody like attacked your looks, like Israel Adesanya, I'd probably be like, all right, I'm gonna go with that guy because that's like his.
It's funny you say that because remember whenever Sean was making fun of his pearls and his nails, and then he came back and beat whoever he beat.
See, so maybe Bri's
There
not
might
so
be some truth
crazy
to
after
this.
all.
All
Yeah,
right.
just saying.
All right.
Actually,
Well, let
like,
me know who you're going to be betting on this weekend.
I was gonna say this is the
Send me
part we
some
should cut. We
picks.
can't let people in on our secret now.
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
feel like we should not. Like
Yeah.
this is
You
Nikki.
put the money up though because I'm still not convinced all the way.
Fine, I suppose. I feel like now it's like meet the parents. Like this is like the circle of trust, and like now we have to like keep it in the room.
Don't fucking tell anybody.
Yeah.
It will kill you.
That and then like the Ultimate Fighter, which will hang in the balance.
Yes.
So are you nervous about it? Like, are you just kind of like thinking, oh, if I don't get it?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I think that I'm gonna get it because, like I said, I'm like the perfect personality. The interview went great, and I'm like exactly the amount of fights that they want. I have all the knockouts. It's on paper, everything looks great. Like I said, I'm with Iridium, but you can never get too caught up in shit in this game. Like,
Yeah, can't get too comfortable.
yeah. Well, not even comfortable. Just like you never even know what's gonna happen and what's not gonna happen. Like like you could be talking about one fight and then this could happen. A guy could fall out. Like I've heard a bunch of stories of guys even going into the house and like then getting used as an alternate and then have to leave and like it's like a whole thing. So like I'm just trying to put one foot in front of the other and just
be like level-headed about it.
Yeah, just be really like even about all of it because even after the show I want to stay the same way because eventually I'm gonna get there. Like if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna have a couple, maybe like one more fight
Absolutely
this year before Contender Series, and then I'll fight contenders, and then that'll be my opportunity to get in. But I just
I mean,
Yeah.
it would be like a bit of a risk, but I feel like let's just hypothetically say worst case scenario you don't get in. If you just show up at the house anyway and like stand outside with your bags and just demand that and I feel like Dana's
I'm gonna
crazy
fight
enough.
somebody.
Yeah, and he knows production value that he might be like, fuck it, let him in. Like let's just throw the whole thing off. Let's let him in. Like and then it'll always be known as the guy who just like barged his way in.
I might have to steal that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, inshallah, God willing, I
yes,
will.
Inshallah.
Yeah, and then I'll be on the show in the 8 people, and I think I should be. I think that I'm perfect for them. But like I've been in the conversation for a little bit now, and
feeling like it's time.
I mean, I know it's time, especially from like where I'm, like the level I'm training at, and the guys I'm going with. It's not even past the show, I'm gonna be a staple for the UFC. Like I know I'm gonna create some really entertaining fights and be a part of some special moments, and they're not always gonna feel good. And I've already like accepted that with myself that it's not gonna be like whenever I was young, like it was so fun and cool and fresh and like hell yeah. But like no, like fighting fucking sucks, and like I've accepted that. Like it hurts and it's horrible and it's ugly and you don't get paid near as enough, but I do fucking love it, and I'm really, really good at it. And I know if you come out on the other side of things, you can make a whole lot of fucking money. So for me, I'm just trying to break through to that other side, and I see this as an opportunity to get through to that other side.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing I always tell people who are not like fight fans. Like I try to explain to them like what I love the most about the sport is that like it is a brutal sport, and like to you like what you were saying, like you have to love it. Like you can't be like half in on it. You wouldn't put in that work for no money. Put your body, like your brain, everything on the line. If you're just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna try this shit out, and like not past a certain level anyway, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, so like one of my like I'm gonna have a shirt coming out soon, and because me and my homie Shorty and bunch of my buddies at the gym, we'd like when we do stupid shit, we're just like CTE isn't real. And we all just kind of like laugh it off because it's whatever. But like, because it's a part of what we're doing, and like we've all accepted it.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you have to kind of put that on the back burner. At least for me, I put it back on the back burner until after my career, and then I'll go to doctors and do whatever they tell me, and hopefully Elon Musk has a little fucking pill that I pop and everything's
by
just
then,
regenerated
right?
or something. But like I eat my fish oils or something. But I'm not even thinking about any of that shit
I
now
don't think you can. Like,
because you're gonna be tentative, you're gonna be timid about it. So like, yeah, you're putting everything on the line. At we're all aware that we're putting everything on the line every single day. Any day that I just show up to sparring and go with some really good guys and we're fucking winging head kicks at each other, like those are baseball bats we're throwing at each other's head. And
right.
I'm not necessarily trying to take, like we were talking about earlier, I'm not trying to take a guy's head off, but sometimes you clip someone or you get clipped on a shot and like you don't really know where you are for a second and then you come back and you're like, oh fuck, that was crazy. Like, are you good? Yeah, I'm good. Like,
Right.
and so we all know what the consequences are. And I think like the more high level you get, you just have respect for your peers and your opponents and shit like that because they're putting the same thing out there that you are. Like, even though that you're going to try and take that from them and they're going to try and take it from you, you still have like this mutual respect about like what we're really doing here.
Right. And what it's costing you in a way,
What it's
right?
costing you and what you've had to sacrifice to get to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like this is like a very controversial thing in the MMA world, but
Sorry.
I hate when like like I get that it's a brutal sport. I hate an early stoppage as much as anybody else, but when they do stop a fight and I feel like it's, it was like the appropriate time when there's like the guys like, like the keyboard warriors who were like, this is a brutal sport. They should have let it go on. I'm like, I'm not looking to see somebody die in the octagon, like
I hate to see an early stoppage, but I hate to see a late stoppage more.
yeah. And like I feel like people don't or maybe they get it and they just don't care, like or maybe you have to see it live or something, but when somebody's literally
No,
getting
you have to
like
know somebody. When you know somebody and you see them get knocked unconscious, or like Shorty's last fight is a really good example. The doctors should have stopped the fight because he had a cut on his eyebrow and on his forehead, and both cuts were running into his eyes.
right,
So he
right.
couldn't see. He told the doctor he couldn't see, and then they wiped it off and sent him back in there to just basically just eat another 50 unanswered punches.
Right.
But like, why?
Right, right. Like at that point. And then you got to think about like the future of like not even just like your own health, but even like your own fight career. Like if you get like your skull bashed in, like you're like
You could
only
be
five,
done that
six
night.
fight. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not
And it takes every shot adds up. So, at a certain point, everyone's going to be done. So, yeah, it's just, it's sad to see. You don't want to see guys take too much damage, that's for sure. But also, early stoppages do suck too because guys are willing to put it on the line. And we've all been in positions, like if you're training at a really high level, we've all been in positions where it's like, oh, fuck, can I get through this?
right,
And
right,
they've
right.
battled through. So they already know for a fact that
Right.
they can get through shit. So if they get caught and they're right back on their feet and they're trying to get back in it and they're blocking shots and then they step in, it's like, what the fuck, dude? I was just getting my bearings back. Like,
Right.
I want to see this through because you put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months into this camp. So it's like,
Right.
I do get that as an athlete, but yeah,
And
like I said, I'd rather see an early stoppage than a late.
yeah, definitely. And then some people are just too tough for their own good. Like Korean Zombie was like the perfect example of like, I mean, that like his like I was it his final fight I think too where like eventually they were I think it was his corner actually stepped in and was like he can't, like we can't like he wasn't down but like he was just taking damage over and over and over again. No, it was the one when he fought
I was gonna say, I think he got slept by Holloway in his last one.
yeah, I think it was when he's fought Volkanovski. That was it. And his
Yeah,
corner
yeah.
was just like, this is not. And then like he wasn't down, but it's like, at what point are you just like, this guy's too? And I think someone said that, like maybe it was Michael Bisping said he's like too tough for his own good,
Yeah,
you
and just
know?
accumulating damage. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I like to think the dude I just fought back in November, he was like a little too tough for his own good. Like he was so outmatched, and
Hmm.
I was just beating the shit out of him, and he just would not quit.
Right.
So like he just would not give a position to where the ref could step in. Like he would just move just a little bit here or there, and like, God, I fucked him up bad. I saw him like the next day, and I really like kind of felt for him a little bit. I was like, damn, dude, like you got $1,000 for that.
I
Like,
know. That's like
like
the,
why didn't you just stop whenever I had your back and I was fucking elbowing you in the side of your head? Like you should have just called it a day and like not took in another 250.
Do you think that's like an ego thing, or do you think that's just like like a fighter thing where it's like I'm just gonna stay in it as long as I possibly could?
I think that's more of a fighter thing, honestly. And this dude's like he was like a country, like,
a corn-fed boy.
yeah. So it's, I don't know, it's just kind of an ass whooping, you know. It wasn't
Yeah.
like really maybe thought of that way.
He's like, this is like
But
a regular Saturday night for me. Like, I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
really,
yeah. And, like, I'm gonna do this at the bar either way, so whatever, fuck it. But yeah, I think for like, you know, the more high level guys, that is something you have to think about though.
Absolutely. I think we're getting close to time here, but one thing that I wanted to ask you, I don't think I've ever asked anyone this before too, is what do you want to do when you're done with fighting?
I want to be able to have enough money to start like getting into like real estate, flipping houses, stuff like that.
Oh,
You know, if you can accumulate enough real estate and you're flipping houses or like renting them out or here Airbnb them out, you can really make some serious bread. So
you want to be like the real life Monopoly man, just check go, buy up all those properties.
pretty much,
I
pretty
like
much.
that.
And then you could get into like commercial stuff eventually once you have enough residential and you've made enough capital and, you know, stuff like that. But if you make like, you know, if you get famous enough and you make enough money, you can really like capitalize on business opportunities, kind of like Connor's doing, where he's like getting into companies at the ground and then advertising the shit out of them through himself and then resell them for another $100 million or 150 million. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's where it's really at. Like, that's where I would ideally like to be at. And then you just like, I want to start doing the houses though as soon as possible, as soon as I start getting some UFC money, so that way, God forbid anything happen, then
Right.
my son would have something, or I would at least have something going, so I'm not like, oh fuck, now I got to refigure out my life, like, and
Right.
you're 35, brain dead, and like,
I know.
you know
I
what I mean.
know.
So I'd rather as soon as I get some money, start getting that shit going and start getting the ball rolling on it.
So it's
Because
definitely like financially motivated. But I was gonna say, like, are
yeah.
you like a closet like HGTV fan? Like, do you kind of like the design aspect of it as well, and you're just not telling us,
I
or?
mean, my dad owned a construction company, so I've seen a lot of that stuff, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't, but I don't have like a crazy interest about it or anything like that. I would
Yeah.
say, like, it's not like, oh, this is my secret passion no one knows about. I don't really have anything that I'm super like passionate about, or I think that I would probably
Like no
try to like go
creative
that
like
direction.
endeavors or anything?
No, I mean, like, I think like it would be fun to do like some acting roles or something like that, or like, you know, stay in kind of like the show business area, do like commentary, stuff
Got
like
it.
that, get involved in the sport somehow. I think that would be like more like my passion stuff, but you know, bills are due.
Right. You're
So
not gonna be like
like,
the next Bob Ross, like painting on
you know what I'm
PBS. Like,
saying? But
yeah.
yeah, but I would definitely like, I want to stay in show business. Like, I want to continue to do entertainment stuff after my career, but I want to make sure that I have like this solid rock foundation. Like, I just don't want to end up like so many other fighters that are just fucking
Yeah.
broke and fucking, you know,
Or
don't
just
have anything else
athletes
left.
and celebrities in general. Like they're
Celebrities in general, and especially athletes though, and especially fighters when it comes to that. And because then you see guys like fucking taking fights at 50 years old and like crazy shit. Like, I just
I
don't.
hate that.
I hate it. I hate seeing shit like that. But um, yeah, I don't want to have to rely on shit like that. I just, you know, I want to have that solid rock foundation, and then hopefully I can be really smart and, you know, with the other stuff. But yeah,
You know, or maybe even like a fashionista. Like you have what it takes. You never
you
know.
think so?
So maybe you should have to like open up that side of yourself. You know, like a flower. Like you should like bloom into your creative self.
Well, I'm trying to drop a merch line here in a little bit
Yeah.
before the show, hopefully. So yeah, so we're gonna have some shit coming out here soon. So make sure you guys get your t-shirts, you as well.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm happy to
And
support.
thank you. And yeah, so we're gonna get some stuff rolling on that. And I definitely want to do different shit. Like, so many people just have like the basic like same stuff. I feel
Yeah,
like,
it's just like a like copy and paste type shit.
and
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be like fight stuff. Like, whenever I like this drop is, they're actually both fight related. So, but like as my fan base grows and I try and like put out like full merch drops, I don't want it to be like cookie cutter like
Yeah.
MMA shit. Like Augie, whatever, like fight some like dude getting kicked on the back. Like, I don't want any shit like that. Like, I want it to be like just stuff I would want to wear.
Right.
And then, you know, if it grows, it grows.
So you have like a touch of Karl Lagerfeld in you. I
I
see
don't know
it
who
coming
that
out.
is.
There's a fashion design. Well, we have much to learn, Grasshopper. But I'm just
Thank you.
saying, I can see like the little seedlings now. So, but we will definitely promote that. Like I'll promote it like on Instagram when it comes out. Is there anything else you want to promote or say before we wrap up?
No, just follow me on Instagram, all my socials right there, Bop. And yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. And again, thank you for being so fashionable. Some people show up and it's just like,
Rugged?
Rogan. Oh, no, not yet.
No, I said rugged.
Oh, I was going to say, like, also mighty bold of you to insult Rogan. I was like, he has not been on the show. No.
No.
But rugged.
If Rogan was on the show, I probably wouldn't be here.
No, no, you definitely would be here. What are you talking about? Listen, I know, like, star power when I see it. So
You think so?
I believe in you.
I do too.
But yeah, rugged. I don't know. It's just been like a mixed bag, I would say. But,
That's weird. Well, I just wanted to come to impress you. You know, that's all that mattered to me.
Thank you.
It wasn't even about these. Fuck those guys. It's about you.
Nikki?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
Wait, which camera? This one. Them.
What'll really impress me is if you like sneak into AVN and get I feel like that would be another good
That
way
would
for
impress you?
Yeah. Because you would definitely get
But what if I get another, you know what I mean? I'll probably end up pulling a Bella Danger at that point. So
oh, no.
I'm sorry, we'll have to hang out next week.
And then I'll just be out at that point.
Be like, hey, what's up, Bri? I went on her podcast. It's nothing, Bella. Don't trip, baby.
See how quickly it goes to their head? I can't. No, but thank you for coming on. And yeah, I guess that's my only thing is I don't have a sign off. I guess we just that's it. Come back next time.
Peace.
Peace. That was good.